Hello and welcome to Alion's Joy today. I am glad you're joining me this episode. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. We're going to talk about joyful things. Alion's Joy is always about tips and tricks and ideas how to grow forward in life in a joyful and happy manner. And today we're going to do part two of what we talked about last week, which are the 10 toxic habits that you want to avoid. And last week I talked about the first five ones that I discussed, and that are the habits that you might have, but that you want to avoid or want to get away from because they're not particularly good or healthy for you, and definitely not good for your overall wellness and connections with others. So, we are here to care, we're here to collaborate, we're here to take care of each other on Win Win Women. And let's enjoy the show today and let's go over a couple of these things. And if you are having comments, please let me know afterwards. Stay on for afterwards discussions. Or, of course, you can always watch these shows back on Women Women TV. And you can also see them on my YouTube channel. Elion Haan, midlife and transformation coach, and yoga instructor and author. So I have some tips and tricks for you today to share. And look me up. At the end, I will give you my information and where you can find me. So one of the things that we didn't talk about last time, and I'm going to make it a point today, is not taking things personally. This has always been one of my big things. I did not do that very well in the past, and I have a story for you that you can relate to it. So not taking things all too personal is very important. We might have that in a relationship. You might see that your partner, your husband, your spouse is in a bad mood, and you're taking that on and you start slamming dishes in the kitchen yourself, right? Because now you're also feeling the same negative energy. And it might not even be about you, it might not have anything to do with you. And sometimes we tend to think, oh, I did something wrong. And so we go in that same energy, we go in that same field, we're going that same thinking. It's probably my fault. I did something wrong, or I missed something, or did I miss something in our communication? Did I miss something in the things we did together? Did I not listen well, etc., etc.? But it might have just been one of these things where the lawnmower was broken and it was not about you, right? So we do that a lot. We take it on and we take on somebody else's energy. And then, secondly, we kind of go into that same mode and we are feeling that we are maybe part of it, maybe the blame. So you want to stay away from that. Another example that I can give you from my past is that when I used to have a bigger place, a bigger yoga studio and wellness center, I was always very, very concerned if people would not come back to do the classes. So let's say they came once or twice and try it out, right? And they wouldn't come back. I would be very worried about those new people that I wanted to reel in so bad, and I wanted them to so bad to stay and enjoy all the classes that we offered, and become part of our little tribe there, right? And so if they would not come back, I would think to myself, drive myself crazy with the thoughts of, what did I not do? Maybe I should have followed up. Maybe I should have asked them something. Maybe I should have gotten more information. Maybe I should follow up with a call. Maybe they didn't like me. Maybe they didn't like the way I was teaching. Maybe they didn't like the way my studio looked. Maybe they didn't like the yellow walls, right? Or maybe they didn't like the group. And I would be so worried about that. I was trying to just kind of like keep staying into that worry, thinking about what I can do to keep people and how to get new people, that I would almost forget to really be grateful and be aware of all the people that were already there and that came every day. So I would just kind of be um, kind of out of it, worried about people that maybe just didn't come back because it was maybe cheaper somewhere else. They were maybe moving the next day. Maybe they changed their mind and not wanting to do yoga at all. Maybe they found fitness elsewhere and it was just not to be with me. It was just not my tribe, right? It was just not good. So it was meant to be for them to move on elsewhere and for me to let that go. But sometimes I couldn't let go and I forgot to see what was really important right in front of my nose, all the people that did come every day, all the people that I could be grateful for. So let's think about that, that sometimes if you feel that you feel, you feel that negative emotion, you feel different things around you, and you're not really in the right place, or you're taking it on from somebody else, it might not be about you. It might not always be about me. So we have to realize that, and we just have people, sometimes we need to let people just be, right? And sometimes it's just not even good to ask all the time, like, I can be like that, like, well, what is it? Tell me what's going on. And, nag, nag. You don't want to do that. Sometimes you just kind of want to stay out of the way and try to let people be in their own space till you find out what's going on, or maybe never. And maybe it will just change the atmosphere and change into a good thing, right? So we just have to let that go. Number two today, what I wanted to definitely discuss a little bit with you, and which is definitely a toxic habit in the end, is when you are constantly into obsessive negative thinking. I work as a coach with a lot of clients that do that. It'll probably never happen. It will probably never come around. It will probably never be for me. I will not able to do that. It is just not my thinking. It's just not my party. And ultimately, what I find out is what they're saying. I will never be happy. It's just not meant to be for me. I was probably just not lucky enough, right? There's a lot of that obsessive negative thinking. I remember doing it in times of my life and thinking that things were just not there for me. There was probably not a good job out there for me, or nobody would see my skills, or nobody would see what I could really do and contribute. Nobody would knock on my door, right? I always say I missed the boat 3 times because I was just waiting. I would just really think that I would probably never have my own things, my own house, a good career, and these things, good relationship even, right? And on the other side of that is what I discussed last week. Then you're waiting for happiness to happen to you, and you're not making it happen yourself. You're just sitting there waiting for things to happen to you. And sometimes we have to have a little bit more of an active role in it, right? It will not be that easy. We need to contribute. We need to dream something and then set goals towards it and put those goals into action if you want some things to happen. So if you're constantly into the negative thinking, I will do a show next week on the benefits of positive thinking. There's many, 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 the proven benefits of positive thinking. But if you can change that around, it's all in your mind. I have done many shows on mindset. If you keep thinking in that same pattern, it will stay there and you will not get the results you want. So if you are able to change it around a little bit, probably next year, I'm going to buy my house or my first car. Or probably next year, I will be on my own. I feel so much happier. I will just be so okay, just doing these things for myself. If you think in 2 years I can get that diploma and I will graduate and I have that career waiting for me. If you can think in those ways, and if you see that ahead, and if you can visualize that, then you're in a much better place. Much better. We have to kind of change your mindset, and it is possible. And sometimes with my clients, what I do, and I did this a lot in group sessions in the past, I would just make it a 24-hour training for everybody. And you had to write down this homework every time you caught yourself thinking, I will not, I have not, I cannot, it will never happen. So all these words, if you caught yourself thinking that, then in that homework assignment, you had to write it down and immediately change it into a sentence that would be the opposite. I am able to get a great job. I am able to finish this study. I am able to have a happy household. I am able to better communicate. So if you are changing those sentences around into a better and a positive outcome, better thinking, then there's a better positive outcome. attached to that. So that is really true. And I will do a long show on that next week. That is really important that we try to change our thinking. So if you're stuck, which my patients and my clients do, they're stuck into, for instance, that negative thinking, and it's hard to get out of, then there's a lot of different exercises and ways to do so, to start thinking a little bit different. And I can help you with that. So reach out if you want to do that. Another big one that we definitely, number 3 today, definitely want to let go of is we want to let go of pain or loss. Anything that was very, very painful. We do not want to forget traumatic events or traumatic happenings in our life. You can't forget it. You can just not throw it away with the baby water, right? You just have to process through it. But I have several techniques where you can process, like I say, through painful moments and loss in your life, and then process through it, and then make it your own. So you process with it. You are going to grow with the pain. It becomes part of you, and you start to own it. Instead of being angry or being afraid of it or being resistant of it, you start to grow with it. And then I always say you move forwards with the pain or with loss. You move slowly forward on a journey that you have to create that will always look different. It will always be different. We cannot stay in the same place. So it will be something different and we have to create something different, but it's not necessarily something that you can compare. And it's not necessarily something that is definitely better. But most of the time, because you are going through that and you're creating that path forward and ultimately that path up, right? That's where it all is. If you're really feeling that you come into that peaceful space, even in happy space, even after loss or trauma or deep grief and pain, then you have moved, and it might be a long time, but then you have moved through and with it. It will stay with you. But these are these moments that I, for instance, can talk to people about the loss of my parents when I was young, which held me back for so many years. And it was a traumatic experience, and I was angry, but it was holding me back, and I didn't see that. And now I can say, because I can talk about it, that I have moved through and moved with it. And also definitely forwards, because it's not something that is holding me back during the day. It's not something that I think about constantly in my activities. I'm just grateful for what I have learned from it, and I am grateful that I have done something with it. So I can talk about it without it emotionally affecting me so bad that I have to cry or that I can't get back into the reality of the now, of that moment, right? So it's really important that we are letting go of being with our pain and loss. It's actually a better way of saying it. We just don't constantly want to hold on to it, because it does create a place of resistance. It might create a place of anger. It might create a place of uh, complacency, right? Where you're just kind of comfortable in that self-pity maybe, or in that sorry pain and in the grief. And you just are not willing to do anything with it. You're not willing to share or talk about it, or go move through it, and you're holding yourself back, and it might affect your self-esteem. It might affect your confidence. It might affect other things where you're unwillingly or not notice that you get triggered by things that are bringing you to that place of negative thinking again. So you do want to try to move through pain and loss and get a better outcome for yourself, so that it becomes a little easier. And that is definitely possible. I can tell you that. It's definitely possible. And then we have another big thing here that has to do, and I want to just kind of bring that up because I don't understand it anymore. We do not want to be cruel to anybody. Why would we be cruel to anybody or in anything, right? I have not understood people that have the need or the tendency to undermine each other, and especially with women. Why would we say ugly things to each other? Why would we say um, things to hurt each other's feelings? Unless you're very mad and you really need to hack it out and right have that fight, And if it's honest, and if you're saying to somebody, I am angry, so I want to discuss that with you and get it out of my system, and then you can just get in the ring, right, together with maybe a good and hopefully a happy outcome for both. You don't have to agree, but it might be good for both. Otherwise, why be cruel and why be ugly? It is not a good thing for us. It is not a good thing for your health. It is not a good thing to hold on to thoughts where you have thoughts of wanting to hurt somebody else. That is not okay. It is not good for your health, for your health. It is not okay to just be ugly, be me. And why would I want to be seen like this? Why would I want to have an image or a reputation? And people say, oh, Elian, ew, she's mean. I don't want that. I don't want that. I would not want people to say mean or say that I'm a mean person, that I come back at people harsh. No. Am I direct? Yes. Am I honest? I'm trying to be. But if I tell you something, if you ask me something and you want an honest answer, I'll tell you. But I say it in the most loving, kind way I can come up with, because that is just the best way to communicate. I love you, but there's some things that I don't like, or that I would like to discuss, or that I feel hurt by, or maybe you hurt me, and but I don't have to be mean. So we have to let go of that. We definitely have to go of that. It is not good to be mean. And with that comes my last point. With that comes my last point. We want to be seen as kind. We want to be seen as firm, maybe as bossy sometimes, which I used to think that bossy is strong women, right? Is confidence, is self-esteem, is not being afraid to speak up, is having that Superman cape on, superwoman, superwoman cape, right? We want to wear the superwoman cape. It's very important. And so for that matter, I want you to feel bit bossy, in control of yourself once in a while. It's very important to feel that strength, to feel that inner power. I want to empower you to feel that. And so, not to be mean, but to be straightforward or to be clear and speak with clarity is very important. And with that comes my last point, that if you don't get your way, don't lose your self control. That doesn't look good on you either. Right, ladies? That doesn't look good on us. We want to have a sense of dignity where we're not losing it. And yes, that's what I do as a coach, is working on that emotion regulation, right? We don't want to lose it. And I know sometimes that's hard, and especially, yay, all of us mothers are right. Sometimes we just so if you're real, and if you're going crazy, and if you're perfectly imperfect, like I like to say, then yes, we want to lose it once in a while. But hmm, I want to create a sense of royal about me and around me, right? Where I just don't want to look a fool. And so again, it's so important that we take that back to communication. Without losing it, how can I control my emotions? And how can I just go a little bit into that anxiety intervention mode? Right? I talk a lot about that. So that anxiety, that stress, everything around us that creates that, we have to intervene before we lose it. And then if you want to lose it, don't lose it. You see what I mean? Just you want to have that slow mo of being able to say, I think I'm going to remove myself from the situation, take a deep breath, Go walk around the neighborhood, go to my safe space, wherever that is. Y'all figure it out. That's what we say here in Texas. Y'all figure it out. Figure it out, people. I'm going to remove myself from the situation before I'm going to say something. Ah, that happens, let me think, at family gatherings or crazy big entertainment events, right? Where sometimes you just go, not my party. So, not my circus, right? So you just want to remove yourself from the situation and control your emotions. And I'll have other shows on that, but we have talked about that. How to intervene those feelings of stress and anxiety before you're going to lose it. You have to recognize those feelings. If you feel that physically coming up, that's why I say again, that's why it's not healthy for you, because it is going to go in your body. It's going to manifest all over, and you're going to feel like that, and you just want to explode. Not healthy, not healthy for the inner body. So that means, with that being said, let's try to control our emotions before we explode. And let's try to get good at that. Let's try to get good at recognizing what we feel, give it a name, address it, find out where it comes from, and then discuss it and address it going forwards with a good plan, right? With good communication. Sometimes other people have to understand us, or we have to go to that place of, will you please listen to me? But we also get in these places, especially in relationships, where we just kind of don't listen anymore because we're so used to each other in these communications, in that dialogue, right? We're so used to each other, kind of already know what you're going to say, where you go with that. And sometimes even kind of being tired of each other, like, what do you got now? What do you have now? Right? What is going on with you now? Kind of like, you would think if I say that to somebody that I've probably been with somebody who's constantly, whining or complaining. And I've been there for 20, 30 years. So now my first reaction is, what's wrong now? And that is also creating a negative response. Oh, there's that again. Nothing. Right? So it creates that response of not want to communicate with each other anymore. And it creates feelings of anticipation, like probably gonna do this, or he's probably gonna do that, or she's probably gonna do this or that. And it creates anticipation and anxiety over things that are not even there or haven't happened yet, or might go completely the other way. So addressing all that in communication is so important. So I hope this helps a little bit. 5 things, toxic things that are not good for you. Things, habits that you want to avoid. Things that we just want to get away of. And if we want to grow in life because you're on a standstill or you're feeling stuck, or even in general, you feel very happy, but you still want to grow, right? I want to grow all the time. I want to learn. I like to use the word growth because it is not me changing. It is personal growth. It is me accepting and knowing me better and still being able to add more interesting, fun, and joyful things to myself and in my life. I can create more. I am more in control. I have better emotion regulation. I have better planning. I'm better with anxiety and stress. So why don't you want to grow into that personal growth, into that personal transformation? If you have questions, please reach out to elianhaan.com, or just you can find me on Linktree, Elian Haan. And the first way there is to make a complimentary phone call appointment with me, right? If you ever want to talk, just click that link, book a date, and schedule a call with me. I would love to chat and hear from you. If you have any questions, reach out. I am all over the place on Facebook, Instagram, social media, of course, YouTube. Um, Follow me and let me know. So let me know all the questions you have. Let me know any ideas. I am so glad to see you today, Elian's Joy today. And I hope to see you next week. We're going to get into the positive thinking things. And we're going to go into the facts and the outcome of positive thinking. Yay! Joyful, joyful, joyful. Win Win Women TV. I see you next week on this channel and all the other channels you're watching. Very glad, very grateful. Make it an amazing rest of the day. I see you next week. Bye.